to the AFC South, in particular Houston Texans, who had the number 2 pick. And Rick and Emory, they found a way to get the number 3 pick. We talked about that earlier with that trade with the Arizona Cardinals. My favorite pick for this one is Emory likes to say it's chalk. I'm going C.J. Stroud. They also got Will Anderson, who is a candidate certainly for the best pick in this draft for the Texans. But Rick, you've talked about this. You cannot come out of this draft if you're the Houston Texans without getting a quarterback. They had 2 first-rounders in 2 and 12 to start the draft process. I can't imagine a situation, and let me ask you, have you thought about this as a general manager, letting another team in your division, in this case, had the Colts gotten C.J. Stroud, they beat you twice a year, and you have to answer those questions to your owner, your fan base?
Yeah, no, and they needed the quarterback. And then C.J., you heard all the smoke coming out right before the draft and the S2 tests, and he's not, he scored very low on that. But like we had talked about in some earlier shows, that's just a total score. But when you dig down and you look at each category that they were graded in, he probably graded very high what was specifically important for the quarterback position. So we never paid attention to the overall score. We paid attention to the scores that required and that were weighted for that position.
And that's important in things that sometimes you don't hear the entire story, and I'm glad you're able to shed some light on that. My hidden gem was Tank Dell. And correct me if I'm wrong, Rick, because you have a better memory than me somehow, but we talked to him at the Combine, and he's one of 8 brothers and sisters and a wrestler. Was that right?
Yeah, he had a pretty unique, when you found him, and
he's tough, though. You didn't say that to his face. You didn't say that to his face.
He was one that you don't want to mess with. He had an edge to him.
He was incredibly tough. And let me ask you, Emory, because you were at the Senior Bowl with us. You have Tank Dell, you have Darius Davis out of TCU, you have Trey Tucker out of Cincinnati. They're all in the same bucket, so to speak. What did you like about Tank Dell?
The fact that he is someone that explodes out of his break, and we saw that at the top of his route and is able to quickly separate. Now, full caveat, one-on-one drills are heavily slanted toward the wide receiver, especially receivers.
Unless you're Darius Rush, the cornerback out of South Carolina.
Right, because he was locked up one-on-one of these guys, picking off passes. But if you're a receiver like
Or
Dell,
Michael Wilson, who can't separate out of coverages, but we're past that.
We're past that. But he's also a 50-50 guy, and he looks a lot like Ryan, too. So yeah, I won't go that far, but I would say Dell is someone, because of his quickness in and out of his break, is the reason why you think about the type of offense they're going to try to run, the type of passing game you try to run, guys that can think quick on their feet, guys that can get open quick, and Dell is someone that can do that.